Good morning. So, plan for today is to hike from Echo Summit Trailhead, which is not like the Echo Lake Trailhead, but below that. Anyway, over to Half Moon. I don't remember the name of it. Half Moon Lake. So we're going for about 15 miles. However, it ends up being, if you saw the last TRT episode, you know I was having some trouble with my maps. But nonetheless, that is the plan for today. And then we're just gonna kind of take our time, stop at Aloha, and enjoy that. So here we go. What are you doing? Here she goes. All right, so to you, it has been 2 minutes, probably less than that. For me, it has been a few hours. Holy moly. We are almost to Aloha, getting pretty darn close. The trails are crazy busy today, which brings me to the story I must tell you now. So we're hiking along, and hiking with the dog, I'm always on watch for other dogs, animals, especially horses and coyotes. So I see something, and at first I assume it's a dog because it's about that size. Well, continue to get a little bit closer, and it pops out on the trail, and it's a coyote, and it is stalking this girl, which is shocking because there are so many people out for the holiday weekend. But anyway, it's just stalking her. But as soon as it saw us and Maple, it turned back and left. And I said to her, I was like, did you know there was a coyote right behind you? And she's like, what? No. And she turned around just in time to see it. And she was like, oh, it's so cute. I'm like, yes and no. Anyway, so that happened. We are so close to Aloha. It's Maple's first time in Desolation, her first time at Aloha. And I'm really excited to share that with you here in a minute. I've got my stove going. In here, I've got some veggies, some turkey, and you can't see it in there, but there is a Knorr pasta side. So I have heard from different sources that the pasta sides do not reheat well. But I love a Knorr pasta side. So I'm giving it a try. Oh, and my water is a-boiling. So, set it down. Ah! Turn this off. And then maybe I could show you what I'm doing without burning the hell out of myself. Ooh, that's a lot of water. Okay, and then we squeeze out the air. This has touched the ground a total of 1 time, 2 times now, and it is covered in dirt because it's that like silicone. Okay, so now we're cooking, right? Okay, so is showing you this a little bit silly? Yes, but I'm very excited. So, there's home. And within home, my sleeping bag, Maple's pad, my pillows. This is the first time I've had, well, Maple has her Gossamer gear like super thin, like 1/8 of an inch or whatever. But this is a Grumble? I'm pretty sure it's Rumble. Travel size blanket I got for her because I was letting her sleep on my down jacket, but the last time I was fairly cold and I really wished that I had my down jacket. So I got her own blanket, which I'm so excited about. And the pillow is new. I'm so excited about that. So it should be a good sleep. And I've got water on that side of me and then mountains that side. So I feel like I sleep better when I feel like an animal or a person couldn't get to me from one side. I feel a little bit safer. So I'm looking forward to the sleep and to my food, which I will show you in a minute. It's so warm. Hopefully. Pasta rehydrated. We shall see. Well, there's nothing hard in there, so that's a really good start. Yep. It is not too shabby. Oh, I'm sure these noises are lovely for some people. Honestly, I have a really good dinner. I am, for the first time, doing a gravity hang on water. Very excited about that. I've got my pillow, I've got Maple's blanket. I'm excited. Well, that's one way to start the morning. So, as you can see, the sun is just starting to rise. I have to go the direction all those coyotes are yapping in. That had to have been like 10 to 20 coyotes. Yay. I wonder if because, like, when I was coming over here, that I saw a whole bunch of berries, and so I don't think bears are up here. I wonder if the coyotes have just decided that this would be their domain. I was hearing them a lot last night too. But anyway, I'm in the midst of packing everything up. So I'm going to finish that, and then we'll chat in a few minutes. Good morning, day 2. So today we are headed from Half Moon up to Richardson Lake. We're looking at like 22-ish miles, give or take. Of course, always give or take, because I can never figure out my mapping situation. Anyway, so we have a climb this morning over Dick's Pass, I think is what it's called, I'm pretty sure. And I'm a little anxious about it because the last clip I just showed you, probably, it was all those coyotes, and they are up there. So I'm sure we'll be fine. I have plenty of ways to protect myself, but it's just, I don't like knowing that I'm going into an area that they call home, but it's like, feels like walking into a bear's den almost. I know it's not that serious, it's just a little unnerving. But anyway, so yeah, that is the plan for today. Oh, anyone who is planning on staying at Half Moon Lake, the camping situation's kind of a pain in the butt. So when you first get there, there are a couple of little campsites along the way, which are decent. If you were running late, they would be fine in a pinch. Just the water next to them is not all the water, not all the water over here is consistently flowing, so do be mindful of that. Okay, sorry, I forgot to start my watch. As I was saying, the camp spots that are on the way into Half Moon are fine. Just watch the water. And then when you get there, if you go to the right side, there are a couple of campsites. And they're not great. They are definitely not completely flat. Right now, at least. But we did just have some rain. I don't know if that kind of shifted things last week. Anyway, those are not completely flat. If you choose not to stay there and to he's like right there. Crazy. If you choose not to stay there and okay, I had to put Maple on a leash because the coyotes are pretty diddly dang darn close and it is freaking her out. Probably because it's freaking me out a little bit, so I have like that odd energy. Anyway, so if you decide not to stay at those couple of campsites that are right there on the right side of Half Moon, and you continue on, there's a huge waterfall on the very far side of the lake. There's no camping spots. If you keep going past the waterfall outlet, I guess, like where the waterfall runs into Half Moon, there was one spot, but there was a guy already there, so I didn't really get a good look at it. I mean, I'm assuming it must not have been horrible because there was somebody there. If you continue past that, this is all kind of a bushwhack too, by the way. There's kind of a trail that was once there, but it's definitely overgrown and muddy, and yeah. Anyways, if you continue past that, now you're over onto the left side of the lake, but still continuing counterclockwise. There are multiple spots together that were decent. The rocks are really sharp though, so you just kind of have to be mindful where you're putting your sleeping pad as far as where the rocks are. So those spots there together, 3 or 4 spots, were decent. If you continue going right around, well, continue on the left side going counterclockwise, there are a few more spots. So I noticed a group pretty close to the water on that side, and at this point we're almost all the way back around the lake. I noticed a group of like 4 people who had their tents pretty close to the water, probably on rock. Obviously I didn't get a good look at it because I'm not going to go waltzing into somebody's campsite. And then after that, there are 2 or 3 more decent spots. And then you got to kind of climb over some big rocks to get back to the beginning trail. So obviously I went all the way around the lake. I stayed at those spots where I said that the rocks were kind of sharp to sleep on. That's where I stayed, and it was nice. It was decent. A little breezy throughout the night, but like the most unsettling part is how many coyotes there are. There's so many coyotes, and luckily they didn't go off all night. Mostly in the evening and in the morning, which is normal for them. I think that's when they're most active anyway. So keep in mind, I did not see any evidence of bears. Potential evidence of mountain lion, but it could have just been big coyote evidence, if you catch my drift. But anyway, that's the little go over for Half Moon. Do I think it's worth it to, if you're doing the TRT, to go 1.5 miles off trail? Absolutely not. Definitely stay at Susie or Dick's. I mean, a lot of people will tell you to stay at Aloha, but it's like going to Hawaii almost, you know? It's so crowded. There is unfortunately trash places just because people will take there's like a little boat ride that cuts out half the hike. So you get a lot of people who are backpacking for the first time or just staying the night for the first time. And honestly, even up at Half Moon, there were trees that had been carved. And to me, that tells me that this is a place that's accessed by people who are maybe not as nature conscious, which means that they're probably not out in nature quite as much, which is a bummer. But there's some options. I could not find jack diddly doo on, are you ready to be off leash? I couldn't find, come here. I could not find any information on Half Moon. So there's some information for you. Water was running. Water was good. Probably would have been a great place to swim if I had been there on time. Okay, bye. We are 10 miles in for the day, headed to Richardson Lake. Not as far as I wanted to be by now, but going over Dick's Pass definitely took longer than I anticipated, but it was a beautiful view. And then we stopped and had lunch. Went for a very quick swim, and we're on our way again. For some reason, I feel like we're moving this time, but we're not going very quickly. I don't know. Maybe I'm taking too many breaks. I'm not sure. Even though my watch tells me that we're still doing 1.8 miles per hour. So the math is not mathin'. Oh well. Anyway, at least gonna get to Richardson Lake. Maybe push a little past it if we have the energy and the daylight. If not, then so be it. And we'll just get up really early. Like maybe hike in the dark situation. We'll see. I don't know how much anxiety that would give me to hike in the dark, seeing as I've never done it before. Alright. Update you again later.
Good morning. I am making coffee right now. So, unfortunately, I didn't update you at all last night because it was kind of chaos. I had planned on staying around Richardson Lake. We got there. Maple got attacked by another person's dog. She's fine. But I decided I'm not going to stay there. And so we continued walking, and there was this guy, and I asked him, like, he seemed nice to begin with. I asked him, like, oh, hey, have you seen any good campsites within the past mile and a half? And he gives me a weird look. Gives me the up and down. Those of you that don't know, I open carry. He looks at my gun. He looks at my dog. He looks back at me and goes, oh, well, you know, I think I saw a couple things about a mile back or so where the creek used to run. My brain, red flags. So I'm like, okay, I can't stay at Richardson, which is also the direction that guy was going. I can't stay within the next mile and a half because I just had a weird feeling like if he was to come looking for me, that's where he would go. And then I was also dealing with some family stuff, and I really wanted to get to a point where I had cell phone service. So I was trying to get to cell phone service. We ended up hiking an additional 4-ish miles, I think. Anyway, we hiked until sunset completely, and then pitched a tent, ate dinner in the dark, and went to bed, which is not my favorite. I really prefer to like have a little nighttime routine, get to brush my teeth, take my melatonin, you know, but it is what it is. So ultimately I did not find cell phone service, but everything at home was fine. I have my satellite, I have my Zoleo, so it's a satellite communicator, so it does give me a little bit of connection to home. Oh, that was hot. Oh, Lord. I definitely just burned my tongue on my coffee. Anyway, also, I think I have all of a sudden developed an allergic reaction to the tape that I put on the back of my feet every day. Well, not every day, but every day I'm doing an activity. Leukotape. There we go. I think I have all of a sudden developed a reaction to leukotape because my skin is almost like it's a really bad rash. It's very itchy and like bubbling up. It's gross. Not a fan. So I'm going to wrap up my feet and hope that works enough as a blister protector, because I'm definitely not going to put leukotape on it again with how bad my reaction is. It's almost like poison. For anybody who has had poison oak, that's kind of what it feels like. And it is not fun. All right, well, we're going to get to that. Today we have, I believe, 18 miles, give or take, into Tahoe City, and we will have completed the entire Tahoe Rim Trail. What is it, babe? People? Bird? So, I'm pretty excited about that. We are so close to almost doing the whole thing. This is our last day.
We are just past Barker Pass. Finally have cell phone service again. I was able to make a couple of phone calls, make sure everything's good at home, and we're set on our way. Have 16 miles to Tahoe City. Where'd she go? Oh, there she is. We have about 16 miles to Tahoe City. And I'm feeling a little emotional. I don't want to get into it now, because I'm sure I'll talk about it when I get to the trailhead, but our journey is coming to an end, which is exciting and sad at the same time. But that just means there's more room for more adventures. All right, check in with you later. Lunchtime. So I just finished having a Chicken Creations chicken salad on 2 tortillas, and I have my chocolate right there in the sun warming up because I like to feel like I'm having a nice little baked good, even though it's probably the farthest thing from. It's just an espresso chocolate bar on a tortilla. But you know what? It's the little things, right? It's the little things. I've got Maple set up with her lunch, even though she's not eating it, but she did eat a lot this morning at breakfast, so that's fine. This is such a pretty camp spot. So Lake Tahoe's right there, and I'm sure sunrise and sunset here would be beautiful, but as you can tell from the rocks, I'm sure it gets very windy up here, which would make it hard to sleep. But anyway, we are about to pass Twin Peaks. I don't know. I tried to look on the map. I don't know if this is a pass. Excuse me. Is like a pass, or I have hiccups now. If this is a pass or if it's just the side of the hill by Twin Peaks. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I am very glad to have a view of Lake Tahoe again. I felt like all through Desolation there was no view. I didn't even see Tahoe from Dick's Pass. Maybe I was not paying attention to that specifically, but I don't think I could see it from Dick's Pass. But I really like being able to see the lake. That was one of my favorite parts of... Oh, it's just the wind. It sounded like a big animal, but it's just the wind blowing those like dry leaves. That was one of my favorite parts of the other side of the lake, is that I could pretty much see the lake the whole time. Yesterday, I didn't see the lake at all. I don't feel like I saw the lake for the past 2 days. People who thru hike, I feel like the days start to blend together. I've only been out here for 2 nights, and I'm like, what section did I do yesterday? What was the day before? Where did I start? But yeah. Anyway, we are going to continue on. We're just getting closer and closer. I would assume we're probably 10 miles from Tahoe City. Maybe a little bit more, but probably somewhere in there. So, here we go. Really quick, I just wanted to show you my little chocolate creation. Usually this is just how I'll have it, and you can tell because it's like glossy that it's melting. But the past 2 days I have not eaten breakfast, so I feel like I'm probably a little lacking in calories. So I'm gonna add some peanut butter. Oh my god, I'm so excited. A normal person is probably like, that looks like a pile of dog crap. But if you backpack, you know how good this is about to be. This is about to get really messy. All right, I wasn't sure when it was going to happen. Sadly, we are saying goodbye to the PCT. PCT continues that way. and we are going that way. So, goodbye PCT. On to Tahoe City we go. So, I've been really trying not to think about finishing the TRT until I got done. But as I get closer and closer, we're less than 10 miles. The emotions are just hitting me. And this was never something I thought I would be able to do physically because of the part of my back that's broken. I never thought I would be able to do things like this. When I found that out 3 years ago, it took a lot of things out of the equation for me, like ice skating, things where you can fall a lot, carrying heavy things too. But I've done it. I also turn 30 in November. So it's just really cool to have done something so huge and also be in college, and I just hope that my kids see what I'm doing and take inspiration from that, because don't let anybody tell you that you are too weak to follow your dreams and do things that are really important to you. That's it. I'm probably about 7 miles from Tahoe City now. Maybe a little less, actually. And I'm just very excited to celebrate this, because I am going to celebrate. Because even though I've done it in sections, and hopefully within the next couple of years I will be able to do the whole thing all at once. But anyway, even though it's been in sections, it's still a huge accomplishment for me. And I am really proud of myself.